welcome everyone. Welcome on the Zoom. Welcome on the LinkedIn. Thank you all for joining. And as promised, always, Job has brought to you another exciting episode of the webinar, and the topic is really exciting and also little technical in the nature. Also, it says that embrace continuous performance. So with that topic also, we've always maintained that we'll bring exciting people from the industry in front of you. So today, let me welcome wholeheartedly my esteemed panelist, Meenakshi Singh, Meenakshi Singh, who is Executive Director of Jiva Group, with the tagline of Jiva is, I believe, Har Ghar Ayurveda. Meenakshi, you are doing a fabulous job. Jiva is doing fabulous job. And let me also then invite Ms. Saloni Kaul, who is founder and chief executive at Its People. She is a passionate business transformation coach with 34 years of diverse experience in various areas, including leadership, consulting, executive coaching. So today's topic, we'll learn from these two great panelists. So to start, before we start, let me lay down some house rules as the habit. Dear viewers, please put your questions in the Q&A box. As the agenda will move on, our panelists or I will be taking up your questions. Okay? Okay. So thank you again, my dear panelists, to join. Meenakshi, I'll come to you and ask you to briefly introduce you to our viewers.
Thank you, Ravi. Thanks for this wonderful opportunity. And I welcome all the viewers. And I'm really excited to be talking about a topic which I think is very interesting and close to my heart, continuous performance management. So I basically lead HR for Jiva Group, which is an education and healthcare organization. With over 20 years of experience in HR, education, and social enterprise, I lead people across businesses at Jiva Group. And my role is basically helping the organization's pioneering efforts in personalized healthcare solutions through Ayurveda, with a strong emphasis on human touch. I basically help align and nurture our people's skills to meet our organizational goals. And I'm very, very, passionate about working closely with people in helping them unleash their potential, fostering a culture of performance, reinventing employee experiences, and enhancing organizational capabilities. Apart from HR, I've also had extensive experience in education, training and development. I have also been a part of curriculum development for schools. Apart from this, I have also been involved in various social enterprise initiatives with different NGOs with a focus on empowering entrepreneurs and women. So my contribution has been on supporting projects, supporting activities where we can empower women and help them find ways to unleash their potential and so that they can contribute to the society. I have also been a part of different projects in collaboration with different organizations such as Intel, Hewlett-Packard, Wipro, etc., where I've helped in introducing technology in effective ways, that how can you use technology to reinforce education, to reinforce academic topics effectively. I've been part of different core committees for curriculum development as part of CBSE and ICSE. So it is my, I think, passion to work with people and help them find ways to develop through different interventions in the area of HR. Yeah.
Wow, Meenakshi. I believe that was a very elaborate introduction and elaborate work you have done. And I think so our viewers will definitely look forward to learn a lot from a passionate leader who is actually also a very hands-on and who has done such a great length of work on the ground. Thank you to be here. Saloni, please introduce yourself.
So thank you. And on behalf of Faridabad Management Association also, I welcome everyone to this wonderful session, webinar where we will be discussing about performance management, a terminology that every business leader, every HR professional knows like the back of the hand. But yes, there are challenges, and I think today we're going to discuss some ways of overcoming the same. So I come with about more than 3 decades of experience, split across family business, corporate career, and HR leadership roles, and then finally in my own entrepreneurial venture for the last 12 years. And so one thing that has remained constant is my own penchant for learning and development. Because as a human resource leader and as a consultant, when I now, when I've been providing services and I continue to provide, it's the value that, I bring to the table. And my performance, right? We're talking of performance management, is also dependent upon the value that I create, right? So if I go on creating value, right, and my clients and my people in my network see that, then of course that it means that I'm actually giving back to the society. So my work is not just something that brings me money in the account, but actually it is something which helps me live a life where I truly believe that this is what I was born for enabling people to live the life of their dreams, for helping them achieve their vision, whether it's personal or professional. And when it comes to organizations, I also help them achieve their vision and their mission. And in doing that, there are so many ways in which we can do that. And I feel that I'm blessed to be in this place this time, and to be able to do some good job out of it. Thank you.
Great, great. I believe, viewers, you must be hearing those passionate words from our two panelists. Thank you, Saloni. Thank you, Faridabad Management Association. Looking forward for more work together. Let's get into now to the topic, embrace continuous performance. Let me start it with a quote from Tom Peters, who is actually known for his best known for his work in search of excellence. He says that excellent firms don't believe in excellence, only in constant improvement and constant change. And I believe that is what is all about continuous performance, or how we should act on it, right? So now let us understand uh, the two terms when we say that continuous performance management. So one is the continuous performance and the traditional performance, how they are both different. So Meenakshi, I'll come to you first. How do you differentiate between both the continuous performance and the traditional performance system, and why is it important for you?
Yeah. So, Ravi, continuous performance management is an approach to managing employee performance and development throughout the year, rather than on an annual or a semi-annual basis. CPM is not just focused on the destination in terms of, performance rating of employees. It is more about the process of getting there, which involves regularly readdressing objectives and barriers to effective performance. So it is more of a two-way and collaborative process. Whereas on the other hand, traditional performance management is a top-down, linear, structured, and static process, which includes establishing objectives early in the year and then reviewing them at the end of the year.
Right.
And many a times half of those goals become obsolete, and employees are confused. Why are we being reviewed for those?
Yeah.
So if you look at the businesses today, they need to be agile to thrive and compete. They need employees who are empowered, connected, and be able to take ownership of their work.
Right.
So continuous performance management encourages this by providing instant communication and strengthening the relationships amongst people.
Right.
And I always feel that whenever we talk about PMS or anything else for that matter, we must understand the core purpose of doing something. A lot of times we get caught up in processes and activities कि ये सालों से चलता आ रहा है, without understanding हम कर क्यों रहे हैं in the first place. So why do we have PMS? Is it the purpose simply to rate employees so that we can reward them at the end of the year? Or is it to enable them by giving them timely support and effective feedback so that they can course correct to support the goals of the organization? So it is very important to me because CPM is an enabler and not a controlling mechanism.
Right.
So traditional PMS is like a post-mortem that you do.
Right.
You know, at the end of the year,
At the
now
end
you're
of the
doing a
year.
post-mortem.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas continuous performance is more forward-looking and progressive, where the focus is on the present and future
Yes. Yeah.
rather than the past.
Right. Give me feedback when it is required, right now. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm,
So
perfect.
I feel it has to be an enabler for people.
Right. And you feel that, yes, you would be enabling CPM in your organization. It is important for you.
Absolutely. I think organizations today who want to progress and move
Mhm.
forward do not have a choice. If we stick to our old ways of doing things, old principles, so then we cannot progress.
Right.
And it is not about only about what organizations want, but also what
Mhm.
people want.
Right.
Now there's so much competition which is there in the market. So if we don't keep pace with the times, then we will not be able to attract and retain good talent in
Right.
organizations. So it is no more just about efficiency and output, but also
Mhm.
about cultivating new capabilities and skills in employees. That is what they are looking for.
Very well said. Wow. Very well said. I hope my viewers would take the notes, and they must have now understood the difference between continuous performance and the traditional performance, and must have related with the analogy, with the example that Meenakshi gave, that it's a post-mortem, right? Uh,
Yes.
they are not being evaluated, or they are not being helped or given feedback in the real time. Okay, thank you, Meenakshi. Now we heard from Meenakshi, who's a leader, right, and a business owner. Now let us hear from the coach perspective. So, Loni, I'll come to you. Do you see that continuous performance is important from your lens, from the lens of a coach, to an organization? And most importantly, is it needed, or are we saying that it's hyped? What is it?
See, as a business owner myself, and when I am coaching organizations, business organizations, there is a definite need. As a organization, you're looking at, certain business goals, and those goals are obviously going to be, achieved through the, efforts of your teams, of your individual contributors, through the leaders, the managers who are supervising those people. And managing of talent in such a case where what is at risk is, or what is at play is, the business goals. How can we even ignore, continuous performance management? How can we even ignore this? Because it is almost like saying that you have thrown a party, right? And you know that there are 1,000 people who are going to turn up at dinner, and then we're not even checking that, is this really happening? Has the food arrived, or is it cooked? Has the dinner table been laid? Right? We'll do everything to make sure
Right,
that those 1,000 people, when they come, they get good food.
right.
So as a business organization, we exist for serving our customers. And then to serve the customer, any business exists for the customer. To serve the customer, are we doing what is needed? And if we are not, who is managing? Who is tracking? Who is giving feedback? Who is ensuring that we are meeting those minute details, right? You have distinct personalities within an organization. You have a person who is, a red person. When I mean red, I mean he's a person who is, a director level. He's somebody who is looking at, just the crisp outcomes. Yeah, are we there or not? Then there's a person who's very deep person, who's looking at systems, who's looking at really deep diving and understanding whether we have the right people, whether the right process has been followed, whether those little details have been taken care of. Because everything that we do, input, process, output, is going to help us create that outcome for our customer. So
Right.
definitely, CPM is something which uh, every organization in some way or form may be doing, but it may not be there in every pocket of the organization. It
Hmm.
may not be followed as a mantra, but do I see the need? Definitely, yes. It's very important.
It's very important. Wow. Uh, I liked your analogy of hosting that event. It actually fits very well. And definitely, yes, very well said, Saloni, that in some or other way, somewhere in the organization, people must be doing CPA, one department or another department. But you said very rightly that maybe it's not in every area of the Organization, and as an organization, as a whole, maybe we are not using it. Very nice. So I hope, guys, you're noting and taking down your notes, and please do add your questions. Okay, we love to have your questions. Now, this is the definition part. This is the need part, that yes, we need it. This is the coach recommendation that yes, you need it. This is a business owner recommendation that yes, we need it. Now let us understand the pitfalls also, because every framework has the pros and cons. Okay, so again, I'll come back to you, Meenakshi. What do you see that? What are the biggest drawbacks of traditional performance management?
See, if you look at traditional performance management, it is about, it revolves around an annual appraisal with maybe a mid-year review in between. And at the annual review, managers are typically expected to identify how well their team members have met their objectives over the last year, how effective they have been at displaying, values, behaviors, or behavioral competencies that are part of their role. Then maybe have a discussion around what their career aspirations are and what their objectives should be for the following year. So typically, this is the basic agenda that we envision or that we think should be for appraisal review that we have on an annual basis. However, to achieve all this in one meeting is simply not feasible. So appraisals frequently end up becoming a check in the box exercise. Ki ho gaya hai, nahi hua hai. Right. So one of the major drawbacks of traditional appraisal method is also inherent subjectivity involved in the process, where evaluations are often based on the personal opinions and biases of the appraiser, especially where there is limited data available. So in case of maybe business data, where doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani, maybe they have very little scope. But with support functions and with in the absence of data, that visibility is not there. So people are rated on the whims and fancies of the managers. So if I have a personal liking for somebody, so of course that may influence the appraisal, resulting in an inaccurate reflection of the employee's actual performance.
Right.
According to a survey, most people do not like the appraisal process. We have spoken to a lot of people and they feel it is like a headache. यार अब फिर वो form आ गया and we have to fill and do all these ratings. So from the managers and leaders perspective, filling up forms and doing reviews take up so much of their time. And then HR, poor HR, is trying to follow up, pushing them to submit the reviews on time because they have to do their job. So it is time consuming. From the employee's perspective, since this process is linked to pay evaluations, it leads to a lot of stress and anxiety because they know that they are going to be reviewed on this entire data. So reward related to performance evaluation and performance development often gets mixed up.
Right.
So when we know that a performance rating is being linked to this whole process, a lot of people are not even open to discussing their issues. So they may have, there are some people who are very straightforward. They would go up to their bosses and they would seek help. Let's see, I'm getting stuck. This is what you told me. I'm not able to achieve this. But then there are many people who are not that open. They want that that space. They want that encouragement from their managers who comes to them and asks for what support they need. So in the absence of these things, and if these things are going to happen once in a year, so then it leaves very little room for improvement.
Right.
So all these things are there. Then apart from this, when you are giving feedback to the employee on their past performance, maybe around an event which happened 5 months back, so the employee may become defensive and he may have even forgotten half of the things. So, it's ridiculous to blame somebody or give feedback which is happening, which happened like, months back. And I'm sure we all agree that any appreciation, if we are talking about positive feedback, appreciation, recognition, it has to be done instantly. So we often forget that if we were in their shoes, so we should always think that if we are all employees. So how would we want to be treated? How would we want to be recognized? So if we use this basic mantra in mind, and so I think that will address a lot of these issues.
Agree.
Then if you talk about the training needs also, so we identify all the training needs at the end of the year.
Hmm.
and we don't discuss it while, there is a need. So if I
While
know
there's
that my to be trained today, why do I need to wait 1 year to
right,
discuss that?
right.
So I think all these things need to be taken care of. And another thing is the goal setting, I feel a lot of times is undervalued. We define goals in the beginning of the year, and while we know a lot of
Hmm.
times, when we are during the year, that they actually need to be realigned. Things are
Mhm.
not happening the way we had discussed. However, if there is no formal way for me to address or
Mhm.
align these goals in between, then it will leave very little room for me to achieve those goals which were discussed
Right,
in the beginning of the year. So I think
right.
in the absence of all these things, we are not creating that conducive environment
Hmm.
to employees, which will help them grow and which will help them perform to the best of their potential.
Right, right. So, thank you, Meenakshi. What I hear is definitely yes. Today, there's an absence of data also to actually conduct uh, appraisal in a unbiased way. And also, I think so, we all can relate with that fear or the tension when this whole appraisal cycle has to be done. I can recollect some of my friends, they they take weeks like, oh, what are you doing? They come up, oh, I'm preparing my notes for my review. So review is always seen, but why can't it be a very continuous process where it is allowed only when there is a problem, not after a year. I can totally relate to you and my viewers would also be right. A lot of good points actually. A lot of good points, Meenakshi. Thanks. Saloni, now you as a coach, you've been the part of such exercise, okay, lot many times. You actually created all process also, policies also around appraisal. So can I ask you that uh, have you seen any negative impacts? Let me reframe this question now because now we are seeing that yes, already you've established that there are negative impacts. But can you set up some examples of such impacts that actually have not worked in favor of that department, of that employee or the team?
So let's first establish why do we do performance management? What's the
Mhm.
objective, the goal? And if the objective is to make sure that the organization has a process for setting goals and helping the members, the employees, the different functions work on those goals and achieve on those goals. And then if there is no PDC, if there's no check that is happening, for example, and the check is only happening after 12 months, then
Mm.
it is a exercise that has been very futile. Because then where is that room for improvement, that quick agility that today we are talking about? Where does that kick in? So the firstly, having a traditional appraisal, which is, ending at the year end, actually serves no purpose except for probably, as Meenakshi said, that it is linked to one's increment.
Mm.
But imagine when you are appraising somebody for increment, and at the end of the day, you're giving him feedback that, this is where we see you. How that feedback was given, it's a separate thing. But then you're giving it at after 12 months or
Right.
after a period of time when it has lost its charm. The
Mm.
value of that feedback is, because you could have corrected that person, you could have, given constructive feedback to that person
Mm.
while it was still fresh and there was room for it. There's some improvement. And there was the entire 12-month period where he could have or she could have done some, big thing
Mm.
at, after receiving that feedback. So I feel that looking at traditionally the impact of these reviews doesn't really help because it's post-mortem, and if we didn't really have good goals set up, if we didn't have some timelines set up, and if those were not reviewed on time, or we found that actually we had a high potential employee
Mm.
who felt that I could have done so much more.
Right.
If I had the time where I could be in this dialogue with my my HOD or my manager. And so much more could have been done with that person. So the organization has lost out actually on drawing the capability levels and using those capabilities to not just drive organizational goals, but actually super past them. So I believe it's something which all of us, many organizations are these days looking at doing half yearly, quarterly, for that
Yes.
very reason.
Yeah.
So many organizations, Ravi, you and me, we
Mm.
both know, who are looking at the 90-day,
Right.
review,
Right.
because even the organization strategies change.
Mm.
What we had thought at the beginning of the year, and by the time the year ended, the strategies have undergone a change.
Mm.
And that is because we were quick to adapt and say, okay, this is not working, we need to change the strategy. But if we kept on following the same strategy for 12 months, and then we realize after 12 months that the strategy was actually, failing us right from quarter one, then it is again a lost case. So, absolutely.
Sure.
Numerous examples, I think.
Numerous examples.
Yeah.
Very nice. Let me take up before moving forward. Let me take up a question from our viewer Manish. Thank you, Manish. Uh, so Manish says that normal PMS mechanism focus on measurable functional KRA. That's true. But a little weightage is given to the jobs done. That's irony. Jobs done, be the praise out of the box and little encouragement to the innovative thinkers. I think so. That is what exactly you were stating. How their performance to be measured and recognized. Saloni, if you can expand on that, you can answer it.
Okay. So Manish, what I hear you say is that there's a little weightage that is given for, let's say, business as usual, right? And then there are the let's say the specific goals where, so let me put it this way. Um, there are operations and then there are specific goals. Operations is business as usual. Operations are those things, those activities that you need to do to be able to achieve a bigger goal. So those are definitely going to tie into something bigger. If you don't have big goals, if you're only reviewing somebody on the operational side of, so then there's no motivation except that you look for innovation in the way you're doing things. I know of a organization where we had, to address this point, where we had incorporated something called new initiatives. What new initiatives has the person taken up, and for this weightage was given. So probably you can do that.
Right. Meenakshi, would you like to add anything to it that a little weightage is given to the jobs done, be the appraisal out of the box or a little encouragement? People are achieving because the KRs are the holistic KRs that one has to be doing work on. But what about those specific things? If they are able to achieve, maybe they are thinking out of the box. They are innovative thinkers and they are getting the
Right.
job done.
Right. So actually, what I feel is that whenever we design KRAs, we have KPIs also very clearly defined with respect to what is the expected outcome that we are expecting from a particular initiative or a KRA. So we can do it in multiple ways. One, we can, like Saloni said, that we can incorporate that in the KRA itself. Like we have new initiatives, and if we know that we have team members or we are involved in projects which require people to be thinking innovatively, and we need them to think innovatively. So we can incorporate that in the KRA. Otherwise, we can also have different, measurable criteria with respect to if my person is going out of the way. So of course, that person is an overachiever or an overperformer, wherein this person, I was not expecting this person to think innovatively, and if he could have done even as is, that would have sufficed my purpose. But if this person is going out of the way to deliver something, so I think like this is where even CPM role comes in with respect to appreciating employees on a real time basis. So if you have team members who are thinking innovatively, coming back to you with new ideas, with newer ways of doing doing those things, so we have to appreciate them in real time. And then I am assuming that if there are team members like that, it will also help you achieve those goals more effectively in terms of the quality or time. So you can, of course, recognize them in that way.
Thank you, Meenakshi. So, Manish, what I hear is that for CPM, you must lay down a process and a policy how you will be conducting CPM on an yearly basis, on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis. And then actually these things will be detailed out over there. And you have to actually operationalize the CPM also. You do not have to just put it under a policy and throw it to the respective department heads and HR. I hope panelists have answered your question. Let's
I
move
have
ahead.
one. I have one.
Please, please.
So we had implemented, this was some time ago, an initiative called You Have Been Caught.
Okay.
And
Very
it was
nice.
like a tricky term, but you have been caught doing something good.
No, very nice.
So if
Yeah.
there is, an initiative, or there is a innovation, or there is something which is out of the box, again, this is Manish for you. If there is something that is being done on those lines, then this was an initiative that we had undertaken, HR had undertaken, and what it led, and this is not that only the manager can give.
Hmm.
This anyone can give to anyone,
Right.
but they have to be specific about it, right? Because otherwise we just don't want a flood of you've been caught, but it has to be very specific.
Mhm.
So yeah, you can think of innovative ways also of encouraging people for their innovative thinking.
Also, one thing that I quickly want to add, Ravi, is that
Please,
we have
please.
an initiative in our organization called Idea Lab. So
Oh.
every doesn't have to be incorporated into KRA directly, and we have to give a platform to all employees to think of newer ideas because they are working at the ground level. They
Hmm.
also have a visibility and exposure to so many things that goes on on a daily basis. So we have this Idea Lab is a platform where they can share their idea with respect to anything that they feel will help the organization in one way or the other. So that idea is received at the head office. It is reviewed by a core committee, and then if we feel the idea actually has a lot of potential, then the
Hmm.
team helps works with that individual to develop that idea further, and that particular employee is rewarded and recognized.
Oh, wow. See, Manish, we have to be creative, okay? And CPM involves creativity. Thank you, panelists. Okay. Uh, Before moving forward, one of the Henry's Ford famous line is coming into my mind that coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is a success, right? Now that is one of the benefits of CPM, that success. So let me ask you both, first of all, Saloni, what key benefits can organization expect from implementing a continuous performance management?
I think it's very obvious. Key benefits would be an agile workforce,
Right.
a motivated workforce.
Hmm.
We are not reacting,
Hmm.
but like I saw another question around
Yes.
pivoting, but
Right.
we are recognizing, and we are awarding, we are identifying, when ideas come up,
Hmm.
nothing happens out of thin air.
Right.
So when you have a system, you have put some thought into designing one. You have
Hmm.
ensured that it is going to give you the results which you are working towards.
Hmm.
And using CPM is uh, you have you're on top of your business. You know exactly what is happening, whether it's business, whether it is your function, whether it is just your team. Because the system is such that it will help you know exactly where have you reached. I know we are talking about just organizational goals, but imagine if we are meeting every week with our teams, if we are asking what if you are achieving your goals, or what have you done on your IDP, your individual
Hmm.
development plan, right? We're
Hmm.
connecting with them, and we're really helping them solve their challenges, or getting them to identify what could they do. So there's
Right.
a bit of mentoring and coaching also involved in this
Hmm.
process.
Hmm.
Do you not think that the entire team would be even more motivated, and also they will start working on things because they can see the support. It's
Hmm.
not lip talk. It's not something which is just being said. There is real, effort that even the leaders, the managers, the seniors are putting, because everybody is working in sync. It's
Hmm.
not just that the workforce on the ground is working.
Right.
It's every level, and
Hmm.
everybody is working together so that we we work towards that common goal. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Meenakshi, I think so. Enough has been said on the employee side. Right? Let us hear from you on the leadership side. What are the kind of a benefits a CPM can offer to the leadership to you?
Yeah, see, one of the benefits is, of course, very clear visibility on what is going on, critical projects, and if certain initiatives were discussed and agreed upon, what is the status on
Hmm.
each one of those, which teams are performing well, are going as per the plan, which are off track. So when
Right.
we have clear visibility on a
Hmm.
real time basis, then leadership team can also provide real time support
Very
rather
good.
than having to discover all these issues once the plan has completely gone off track. So
Hmm.
then I think it is too late to correct it. Second, I feel is improved accountability
Hmm.
at all levels.
Right.
When goals are crystal clear and effectively cascaded down
Hmm.
the levels, and there are tighter reviews against those, it
Hmm.
builds accountability in the system. When you will
Hmm.
not have clear goal setting, clear goal alignment, so we have
Hmm.
to also see the alignment between individual objectives and how can we correlate them to the organizational
To the
objectives.
mission objective.
Then the people, like Saloni said, that idea is to empower people,
Hmm.
to give them accountability. So once they feel accountable, your business is taken care of.
True.
Then another benefit I see, which is very, very important, is breaking silos. And this at the leadership team, when
Yeah.
people think their particular function, कि मुझे अपने से मतलब है, and I need to drive my KRA और दूसरा चाहे कुछ भी करे. So I think this is a very big challenge that
Hmm.
organizations face. So CPM allows for a more effective cross-functional collaboration.
Hmm.
And if cross collaborate effectively, this leads to better business outcomes.
Better business outcome.
And if you have the right technology in place, right tools in place, so we also have access to a lot
Hmm.
of data that can provide valuable insights into different aspects. So organizations can also make informed decisions
Right.
regarding different things because they have the
Hmm.
data in place. So
Hmm.
I feel if you are able to make right decisions, you're able to improve the accountability of people, which can lead to improved outcomes, and you have a clear visibility of where you are going. So
Hmm.
this is a very big help to the leadership team.
Right. Wow.
In fact, just
Uh,
this morning I was having a discussion, Meenakshi and Ravi, with a client, and they wanted a workshop around collaboration. People don't talk to
Okay.
each other. People don't
uh,
support each other. And
yes.
when I was trying to get the details of what is the pain, what is really the pain, and can you give me more examples, and what is the outcome that we are expecting out of this workshop, uh, what it came out, the discussion was precisely this, that when something goes wrong, there is a finger pointing that, the sales didn't happen because the quality of training that was given to these operators who were supposed to do the calls was not of good standard, and
Yeah,
hence
that
they
is
were not able to convert those leads,
right.
and calling, right?
Well,
So the operators, so because the training was not good, their on the ground, on the shop floor, their conversion rate was pretty low. So imagine that if people, instead of saying that, we recognize we have a issue, we have a challenge, now let the quality of the training, that manager or the head, and let the sales head, let the leader, the team leader of the operators, let them all sit together and say, this is the challenge, what can we do at our end to make
mm,
sure that we have a successful outcome. And this is precisely what, when we align people to work together, collaborate together, and not work in silos, this is exactly what we can achieve.
Yeah, very
absolutely.
nice. I think so. Very great inputs from both of our panelists, where we heard from Saloni what employees can get out of it. We heard from Meenakshi, that management, the leadership actually can utilize CPM to reach out to the people, right? Give them the timely feedback. And I please do notice that how CPM can actually connect and impact your business outcomes. That's very, very important. So that's a very important take for you viewers. Please note down that if you can have an effective and efficient CPM implemented, then it can lead to your positive business outcomes. Thank you, Meenakshi. Let's take the two questions that we have. I'll go one by one. Uh, okay, so first is for you, Meenakshi. How can we ensure that continuous performance management feedback doesn't prematurely cause strategic pivots before initiatives are fully matured in their execution? Okay. So I think so what he wants to say that until unless a thing is done, some strategic initiatives has been fulfilled, okay, we are not pivoting from their execution. Let them mature first and then make the change. How can continuous performance solve that?
See, basically, continuous performance management is is an approach or a framework which allows you to open up communication channels
Yes.
amongst different stakeholders. It can be peer to peer, it can be manager to employee, it can be skip levels also. So when we own our own projects, our own goals, so we know that where we need to head. And as we are getting stuck, so feedback is not just a one-way process wherein I, as a manager, observe something and then I need to give feedback to my team member. I think it is vice versa also, wherein the team member should also approach their managers and leaders and ask them for feedback with respect to how they're doing, so that if they are going off track, they can be corrected timely. So I think if it is if it is managed well, if it is handled well, then it can address these issues effectively. And in my experience, I have also seen that a lot of times people do not embrace critical feedback because they don't have that habit of listening.
Right. Yes.
So it is both ways. Managers, they are more excited and eager to share the facts that this happened. And a lot of times we miss out on the softer aspects of why that is needed and how that feedback is to be given. And that is what causes a rift in relationship between the two parties. So if the person who's giving the feedback knows that what feedback and what is the actually end outcome that I need to drive through this, and the person also takes the feedback in the right spirit, then a lot of issues I feel can be addressed. So I feel that there has to be a structure to it. Then whenever we have any feedback process in place or any check-ins or reviews, if we can, as an organization, can establish a certain structure to it, which everybody understands, then we can ensure some kind of discipline that can come to this entire process.
Right. Thank you. So I hope your question has been answered. And because feedback is very important and the timely feedback from both parties to each other is very important. And if the feedback is not in a favor of the time for the business, so definitely yes, you can halt and you can pivot from your strategic initiatives also, right? But the feedback is very important. Okay, and let me come to you, Saloni, as this question belongs to you. How can organization adapt continuous performance management practices for a remote or a hybrid workforce? Please.
So, ever since COVID, we have been working in hybrid times. There are organizations where they have completely, gone, to work from home. There are organizations where some people will come on some occasional basis. So in these circumstances, when even the face-to-face interaction that normally managers and employees may actually not end up having because of this, the way that current workforce is working, the importance of CPM becomes even much more. You need to have a way, a system in which we can still create and leverage technology, because how much can you monitor, especially if you have big teams? How
Right.
much can you actually be on top of things if
Mm.
the daily connect is not there? Connecting and working on site and off site, it's a big change. And many IT companies, at least I know of one because I have coached the HR director there, they have gone, totally online. They rarely come into, to the office. Everybody's work from anywhere, but they have their systems, they have their ways of ensuring that people are available for those timelines. They are submitting whatever timesheets, they're submitting their reviews, everything is online. So managers know from wherever people are, wherever they are, what is it that they're doing and how they are contributing. If there are any challenges, you have systems again in place to submit those challenges, to get into calls, or to escalate if something is not happening. So even those are systems which I'd say many IT companies are leveraging today, so that they're able to you know do things in real time, which is what is really important, because customers are waiting for them, customers are waiting for results. We cannot say that we had an issue and my person is not reachable,
Yes,
so the
yeah,
systems are there. Yeah.
right. Very nice. So I hope your question has been answered. One of the very interesting question. Now I thought that let me now come back to our agenda, but this is a very interesting question. How can companies support employees who might be hesitant about switching to a continuous feedback system? Now, I can answer that, but over to you, Meenakshi and Saloni,
Yeah.
briefly.
Yeah, so I think what is very important is that we have to incorporate or inculcate feedback culture in the organization. It has to be the culture of the organization.
Mm,
And when from top to bottom, it has to be top-down approach, where
mm,
even the leadership team is
mm.
open to
Right.
receiving feedback. When
Very
I
important.
also open my door and no uh, employees do not hesitate in reaching
Mm,
out to me also and
mm.
share that, Meenakshi, can I give you one feedback? So when we
Yes.
have a culture like this, so then employees will get that confidence. Otherwise, why would employees hesitate in having this kind of a system wherein you can get feedback in real time? Who wouldn't want feedback in real time? Because they know that they will have to bear the repercussions of not knowing things at one point of time. So either that environment is not there
Mm,
where the fear is there,
right.
or I know that I will be reprimanded, or
Mm,
situation will not be very favorable, then I will be
mm,
fearful. So I think that open culture has to be there. We have to provide the support to the employees, and most importantly, we have to explain them the purpose. A lot of times, we announce
mm.
policies and
Right.
rules that from tomorrow or from 1st of July, we are starting this initiative and
Mm.
everybody has to follow this because this
Yes.
is what the mandate is.
Yes.
But we don't practice participative leadership
Yeah.
wherein we involve employees
Mm,
in decision making, in rolling out initiatives, so that they understand why this is being
mm,
initiated. Secondly, they have to have a reason to believe that this is being done for their benefit,
mm.
and how it is going to impact them, how it is going to benefit them in the long run.
Very
So if
true.
you provide that safe environment, that positive environment, ongoing support, and then
Mm,
maybe you recognize them, then I
mm.
think you can very easily align everybody and bring everybody together towards this feedback culture.
Very true. So two important things is first of all, make them aware about what the CPM is all about. Give them the coaching if required, and definitely yes, then it is a top down. Okay, if the leaders will open their doors to receive the feedback, not giving the feedback, they give it all the time. Okay, but to receive it, that's the important thing. Then I think so. The hesitance, the fear, basically, I'll say it is a fear, right? Not to participate in CPM activity. I think so that will be removed. Okay, so I think so in just uh,
Yeah, I just mentioned it on, wrote it down, that you can position it as a mentoring, coaching, or a development opportunity.
right,
It's
yes.
not that we want to give you, critique you. It's
Hmm.
about development.
Right.
And that is how it should not just be positioned, but it should also, that is how it should be actually done.
Right. So in respect to the time, let me just quickly ask one more question. Let us be brief. So let us, Saloni, talk about some essential elements, okay, for building that successful CPM in an organization.
Yeah,
What can be those elements?
I think this got somebody already asked it.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, in my view, I put it up on the chat. Uh, Three things are key. One would be, one, we need to have clear objectives and goals.
Hmm,
And only when we have clarity and we have alignment, this
hmm,
happens. Number two, real-time feedback, because that is the benefit. Real-time feedback, don't look at feedback as, a negative word.
hmm,
Feedback is basically to make sure that we come out of it stronger, better, improved, those are the things. So real-time feedback helps you deliver better to the customer. That is what it is all about. It's
hmm,
not a finger at you. It is about how can we improve this so that our outcomes are better and our customer
hmm,
is happier. And then to do it, we should have a user-friendly technology. But like I said, if we have big teams, you can do it for 2, 3 people. But then where do you record it, right? If it is
hmm.
on manual, how do you know what was said, 6 months ago? So having a user-friendly technology becomes very important. So
Very
in
good.
my view, these are the three things.
Thank you. Thank you. Uh, I mean, actually, how regular check-ins, regular review, I'll not say reviews, but regular business level conversations be used to foster ongoing development and feedback conversations.
Ravi, I feel regular check-ins, if done effectively, properly, have immense power
Hmm,
to strongly impact performance levels as well as engagement levels of the employees. Because see, performance is about, if you look at performance, it is the combination of what was delivered and how it was delivered. So a
hmm,
lot of people I have seen, they focus on the what part,
right.
but very few have conversations around the how part.
How about?
So, and that I feel is a real game changer.
Hmm,
So the goal of regular check-ins should be to help employees become a better version of themselves
yes,
so that they can reach closer to their goals.
right.
And in this, so when you do regular check-ins, you're also able to share real-time feedback to employees and guide them. So if I were to compare this to a GPS system, so imagine you're on a road trip going to a new destination and you have a GPS system guiding you, providing you real-time updates, telling you when to turn, alerting you of traffic ahead, and then recalculating your route in case you miss any turn. So without these updates, you can get lost or you may not be able to reach on time. Similarly, in the workplace, real-time feedback and regular check-ins serve the same purpose. They
Hmm,
guide employees in the right direction, help them correct their goals, course correct themselves in case they're off track. And so just like GPS ensures that you're reaching your destination efficiently, real-time feedback also ensures that employees stay on the right path. And through these informal check-ins, we also know that, what is the kind of support that is required by employees to successfully achieve the goals and to improve their performance. We can also have career conversation with them. We can, this leads to building of trust between the manager
hmm,
and the employees. We can adjust goals also in case we feel that these goals need to be adjusted and they're not relevant anymore. The entire
hmm.
business context has changed. So
Yes,
there's no
yeah,
point in pursuing that any further.
right.
So we can do all of this. And so I have personally experienced this, the art of delivering feedback and doing the regular check-ins makes all the difference,
Makes
makes
all the
all the
difference.
difference. And I have seen people, like I was telling you earlier also, I have seen people who were not able to perform under a manager, and as soon as their manager changed, the same
Hmm.
employee who was not able to perform started performing well.
Started performing well,
Course,
yeah.
it's the same employee, same ecosystem, same tool. So what
Right.
happened? So this is the immense power of doing regular check-ins and feedback conversations most effectively.
Very true. Wow. Thank you, Meenakshi, for explaining in such a simple way with the use of GPS analogy. I think so. I could not have explained it much in a much better way. Thank you. Okay. So people are asking questions. Let me ask one more question. What role does technology play in facilitating CPM? Okay. And what tools do you recommend? Wow, what a question. Meenakshi, would you like to take it first? What role
Yeah,
does tech plays in facilitating CPM?
Yeah, I think tech plays all the role, and technology today has made our work a lot simpler and faster. So to start with the whole process of PMS, so if it is driven with the help of technology, it will give us access to real-time data, real-time information with respect to how our people are performing. And if you talk about, there are so many communication and collaboration tools these days. If we incorporate that, then we can communicate with the people, across geographies, across locations, making work so much easier. Then even there are now software programs available for reward and recognition also. So in fact, we also have a program at our organization called Karma. We call it Karma, wherein we reward and recognize employees under different categories. So we have culture building activities, we have knowledge sharing activities, we have doctors who are able to treat difficult cases successfully. So we also recognize these doctors. So we are doing all this with the help of technology. We have reward points that we give to them. So they know how much points they have been able to accumulate, and then they can redeem those points. So technology can help us in knowing how we are doing. We have now so many tools available. Project management software is there, Asana is there, which we can use to manage. And then of course, JOP is there, Joy of Performing. We have OKR tool. The entire OKR platform is there, which can make goal setting plus prioritizing goals, and then having 100% visibility of where the organization is. So there is no scope of ambiguity. With the help of technology, I have real-time data, all times available, and it will help me in making the right decision for my organization.
Thank you. Thank you, Meenakshi. Thank you. Saloni, would you like to add quickly?
Yeah, I would say that, I have mentioned that if you have a small team, you can manage CPM. But if you have big teams, then how do you do it? And where do you record? How do you really have access to what kind of feedback, what kind of improvement? And imagine that when you really sit down to do their appraisals, you have a great idea. There are no biases, there are no halos, there are no horns that are coming in the way of your appraisals, because you know exactly how that person has performed week after week after week, which in traditional cases would absolutely get lost, because nobody can remember every minute detail of every key member or every member in his team.
Right. Thank you. And yes, as a tech company, we definitely understand the importance of technology in CPM. And as you rightly said, Saloni, that for a small set of people, definitely, yes, we can utilize Excel. But again, Excel is also tech. Okay. We have moved now. We are now living in the tech era. So everything is tech. We need tech. So that's the end of our today's agenda. Okay, if anyone wants to, if any of our viewers wants to get in touch to our esteemed panelists, I think so. Aditya is already, our team member has already shared the form. Please fill that form. We'll love to introduce you to our panelists, and they can take your questions one-to-one. And thank you all for joining. Thank you again. And thank you, our panelists. Thank you, Meenakshi. Thank you, Saloni, for today's session. Thanks a lot.